Hey everybody, welcome today to our episode of Beyond Influence. We are very lucky to have with us today what some would call a YouTube and streaming sensation. I know him as Marcel. Some of you may know him as BasicallyIDoWrk. He has mounted an incredible following all over so many different channels. He is an original streamer who has grown his platform through the generations. And so we are extremely happy to have you today. Thank you so much for dropping by, Marcel. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Thanks for having me. Appreciate the premium gas. You know what I'm saying? Gas.
Yes, for sure. And obviously Scott as well. Scott, how you doing?
Doing good. Big week. Just came back from New York. Been pretty excited, not gonna lie, for this conversation. Marcel's got a huge following. We're doing amazing things. I'm really excited for this conversation.
For sure. So before we get into it, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I met Marcel at first. It's a bit of an interesting conversation. So it all starts when I'm supposed to have poker night with Zach. Zach from our season invites me out. And then I get a text from one of my friends from Delaware that says, "Hey, are you playing poker with some guys in Seattle?" And I'm like, "Hey, Josh, how did you how did you know this?"
So random.
And so, yeah, it's so random. And he goes on to tell me that, hey, I'm listening to a streamer, and he said he's playing with another streamer who said that he has to get off because he has to actually play poker with a bunch of guys from the Love is Blind season 4. And so I had to imagine it was, I'm like, that it is so crazy to imagine that. And the funny thing about that was our second scheduled poker night. The first poker night, Marcel couldn't make it because that was the night that the Eminem skin was being released on Fortnite.
There was a big event, bro. And I was like, I can't miss it. I got to play it. I was like, hey, I can't make it. Eminem skin's dropping. I couldn't make it.
Oh, man. And then to round it off, I think the funniest part about this is when I did finally get to meet you, I remember the first thing that you told me about was that one of your most viral TikToks was to reacting to me and Chelsea's wedding on Love is Blind.
Yeah, on that like suspense. They left us hanging on that episode. And I was just like, oh, I got super upset. And then your wife actually posted it like on her Instagram and stuff like that. And that's where I saw it. Yeah. I was like, oh, he saw it. Like, it was crazy.
But that just goes to show you how the internet connects all of us together in social media. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna actually stop talking and I'm gonna pass it off to you, man, because you have done such incredible work. You have mounted your following and your streaming life and kind of journey into this incredible final product, man. Tell us, how has everything been for you? How did it all start, and how did you end up here, man? How did streaming begin?
I mean, yeah, I come from a time where this wasn't a real thing. It was just something that we, did for fun. It was creative, editing videos and uploading them to YouTube. So it's been a long grind. I mean, I created my channel in 2011 and I started uploading in 2012. So I never had this like massive rocket ship increase. It's been like I would get an email every time I got a subscriber. So it was like I was checking it every day. And it's been interesting to kind of see how like the world has adapted and accepted social media as like a career, because before it was like, so you get paid how? Like it didn't make sense to people, but it's been a grind. It's been a grind for me for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like when you first started, was there even a thought about monetizing it or making money? It's just like, hey, I love games. I want to share this. YouTube's cool. I'm watching videos. I want to get in on it. Like, how did that even, a lot of people today have this like end game in mind. I want to be rich. I want to be the next whoever. Back then, it just seemed like a kind of a passion project.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was just something that I was already doing. I was playing video games a lot, and I had the equipment to record what I was doing, and there was no sense of making money at all. And I remember I had 2 roommates at the time, and they were like, "What's your goal starting this?" And I was like, 10,000 subscribers. He was like, "No, I said 100,000 actually." He was like, "That's way too many." Like I was like, "Nah, I think I could do it." And he was like, "Try for 10." I was like, "All right, bet." And then it was just something like I really enjoyed like editing and like making like a short film out of Call of Duty and stuff like that. So like money was never ever like I had no idea until the money started coming in. So yeah, it's interesting. And like I feel like today it's even more difficult to start because you know that you can make money on it, and like it kind of puts you in a different mindset, like going into social media and everything.
I think it was such a cool time, back then. I played a lot of Counter-Strike back in the day. And I remember watching like when YouTube kind of and the whole kind of gaming content started coming out. It was so cool because there were so many different lanes. There was like the funny guys, there's the super competitive guys, there's tips and tricks, but they're just like the dumbest memes and funny stuff. And I think no matter, and video games is that for a lot of people. And I think it's a different type of release. It's a different type of entertainment for different people. And there was kind of a lane for all those different people. And it's just been so cool to watch those communities get built. Um, like, did you just pick like what game you were playing, or like how did you kind of pick what content to create?
At the time, I was broke. All I had was my Xbox and a laptop, so it was Call of Duty. It's what everybody was playing at the time, and like I didn't have a computer that could run PC games, so it was just me playing with whoever I could play with, and just recording like the genuine like normal reactions that you would have every day. And I thought I was good at like video games. It's like I could be a pro, but that wasn't the case. So I just leaned into just having like fun experiences and trying to make it as entertaining as possible. And also trying to like play games in a way that most people weren't playing the game. So it's like Search and Destroy is my favorite game mode, like Counter-Strike in a way, where it's just like all I would do was go for ninja diffuses and just try to defuse the bomb without killing people and like just make it fun. And I just leaned into it really hard. So yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some of your streams. And what's really funny? People don't really know about this, but when Call of Duty Black Ops 1 came out, I was number 16 in hardcore search and destroy for about a month and a half in the world. I was nasty. All right, people don't know about this, so we might need to put together an all time.
I'm down. I'm down.
But like, I love origin stories and the way they come up. I want to know what came up or what gave you the idea of basically I do work.
Oh man, so the gamer tag, we had an Xbox that had it was the family Xbox in the living room, and it had like 5 free 1 month trials, and I would just burn through them because I didn't have money to buy a new one, or like to pay for a year subscription. And this is when like Rob and Big, like Rob Dyrdek was super big on TV, and they always said do work, do work. So I started saying it all the time too. And one time I was like Halo 3 or something like that, and I'd had a really good game, and some guy was like, "Man, that guy did work. Or, that guy basically does work." And I was like, "That's my next gamer tag." And I made it my gamer tag, and I just never changed it. I moved out of my parents' house, took the Xbox, and that was my Xbox. I was stuck with it. It just happened. I have no idea.
So you started off on the YouTube. Like, how long did it take? Do you remember about how long it took you to get like 1,000, 10,000? Like, was it really just kind of throwing videos out into the dark? Was there any initial response? I'm like curious how long that process took.
I'm not sure how long it took me to get 1,000, but I really leaned in and utilized like the community channels that were big back in the day. So it was like top 5 clips of the day, top 10 funniest moments of the day. But it took me, I want to say, 6 months to a year to hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, and then it took me another year to hit 1 million, and then the year after that I hit 2 million, and the year after I hit 3, and then I kind of slowed down a little bit. So it was a long time. It was a long time.
That is a crazy amount of growth, and I think when we just think about society and today, I think it's been a beautiful evolution of there being a point in our lives where people said, "Hey, you have to stay in school
Hmm.
and you have to get good grades and you have to do all these perfect things so much better than everyone else."
Yeah.
So we were kept to this finite amount of things that we had to do much better than everyone around us. But now it feels like we've created this opportunity for everyone to just hyper focus on the things that they are good at.
Yeah, their interest.
And it doesn't have to be this crazy straight path. And I love that. I love being able to see people like cling to and hold on to the things that they love. Like when I watch your videos, they are hilarious. Like you're having a
Appreciate it.
good time. And obviously sometimes they're a bit over the top, but like that describes your personality.
Yeah.
And it is funny. I saw that one of your nicknames is the Master of Disguise. And so
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that.
I don't know where this idea came from. I think it's because like I just watched the movie The Master of Disguise like on Netflix or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But I was just like, oh, it'd be really funny to like impersonate some people that I know. So I went to their YouTube channels and I downloaded like I want to say almost every video that they had on their channel that was like good audio quality, and I listened to it and I would stop. I'd cut out like sentences and phrases and words, and I just had a folder on my entire computer screen with just everything that they had said. And then I was like, okay, how can I take it a step forward? And then I created a gamer tag that looked just like their gamer tag. And then I joined their game and talked to them using, and it was like so like ratchet setup. I just had my headphones like this, and I would press play, and it turned out to be really like entertaining. And yeah, and I was just like, all right, who's next? Who's next? And then the best part was like they had no idea who I was the whole time, and it was a blast to do. Now it would be really easy, but I don't think the payoff would be worth all the effort that I would have to go through unless I used AI. But it's a possibility. It's a possibility. But yeah, the Master of Disguise came out of nowhere. It just worked. I don't know. It just worked. I was like, this is dope. Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I love to hear that. It's cool seeing like the different parts of what helped you grow through your journey. It is funny though, because like now it seems like a lot more people could do those things. Like you said, somebody could pick up AI and just
Oh
make it
yeah.
happen. Right. This last decade of social, when you think about the transitions, even from like Vine,
Oh yeah.
right, and then when Instagram started really breaking through, and there were people trying to replicate the success of Instagram, right? Like now it does feel like we've gotten to a point where there are a lot more people doing a bit more copying and taking a little bit more from a little bit of people. And you've gone through a really cool generation where you did have the ability to identify yourself as this person, and kind of grow through that generation, right? What would you say has changed the most through your journey as a streamer? Like, what's the biggest thing that you've seen that you're like, wow, this is way different from when I started?
Obviously, like the world acceptance of being like, I record myself. So like that's a little bit like that's very interesting to see, and like how common it is. And like kids, they're like kids say that they want to be a content creator or they want to be a streamer or they want to lean into the internet as like their career and stuff like that. Like I get asked to go to career days. And I'm just like, I don't know what to say to these kids. Like stay in school, but it's like I dropped out. You know what I mean? So that's been interesting, and also just like the availability of the equipment that's been really interesting for me to see. Like because these technology keeps getting more advanced, but like the first box that I had to buy, I had to get like Craigslist, meet a dude in a McDonald's parking lot, and it was like a VCR type of thing. And now it's just like you just go on Amazon and it's click, click, and they've got, one store sells everything that you need. And that's really interesting to see. Um, and obviously like the amount of people that are leaning into, I know like COVID had a big effect on that too. Everyone's just like, I'm gonna order this equipment on Amazon. I'm gonna try it and see how it works out. Yeah, I think the equipment and how like far the technology has come, how easy it is to record, and then just the world accepting that it's a viable career. Because it took a while for my parents to even understand it. Be like, yeah, and then they can't explain it to people. So, but now it's just like even your grandparents know what a streamer is and stuff like that.
How much, as you kind of came up and you're putting content out and trying different ideas, how much did you look at others around you for inspiration? Were you just trying to do your own thing? Like it's always that weird balance of, not trying to copy, but also seeing good ideas that are working. Like how did you balance, you know, maintaining your own identity, your own personality, but then also like this inspiration and seeing others who are having success and trying to kind of fuse that with your style? I imagine that was like, it's been a long process.
I got fortunate that when I was coming up and starting to gain growth, I met a group of guys that were around the same kind of size as me, and we formed like this little group. And we really just bounced ideas off of each other. So it was be like, yo, I watched your video yesterday. How did you edit that? Like, what is that process? So it became like a friendly, creative competition between us. So it wasn't difficult to kind of like stay in your own lane. And I feel like the thing that worked the most with our group of us, because I think there's like 12 of us at the time, was like we each kind of fit a role, So it was like I'm the angry guy. I'm also the only black person in the group. You know what I mean? So it was like boom. It's like we have the village idiot who's not really an idiot. So it was like we just kind of leaned on the role that we had in the group, and so it was pretty seamless. Like it wasn't too difficult to kind of be like, okay, my identity, and then just editing it and stuff was a bit of a challenge, but you just take inspiration from whatever you're watching on TV. Like, oh, I'm gonna edit an intro like Parks and Rec, or I'm gonna edit an intro like like an anime. So yeah,
One thing that we keep like encountering whenever we talk to people is that community is so
massive,
massive,
massive.
massive when you're starting these things out. You even think about like when there were like the TikTok dance houses, which I think there's a documentary on those right now. So might not want to give those too much props, but ultimately community means so much. And if you are able to find like-minded people who are pushing for the same goal, all push each other,
Oh
right?
yeah,
And also all encourage each other, that like speaks volumes, because it means you're all continuously progressing in the right direction. And as you were starting out, you had those, but did you also have somebody to look up to, would you say? Like, did you have a favorite streamer or somebody that you thought was like, I want to be this person?
there was another crew that they were bigger than us at the time. They're called The Crew, and they kind of had a similar vibe to us. So like we would kind of it'd be interesting because if like we discovered like a glitch in the game, it'd be a race to see which crew could kind of get their video up first and edit it the best. And it's obviously like looking up to them, and like one person in their group had a series where it was like stuff from last week, and it was just a random compilation of like things that were said. So it was like, oh, I'm gonna lean into that, and then mine was called Good Times from last week, and it was just that same kind of format. So like it was just watching other people that I found entertaining, like that group, and there was like the OGs that like C Nanners was a big guy back then, and then White Boy 7th Street, who was the first gamer to hit 1 million. It was actually tough to like even find like gaming content like on YouTube. So I watched everything. It's so hard to like pick, and then community channels, trick shot compilations, all kind of stuff like that. Yeah, I looked up to everybody because I was like a fan, and then like even people that were like around my size, like I found them really entertaining to watch. And I remember like when we would first collab, I would just mute my mic and like freak out in my room, even though this guy's got 8,000 subscribers. You know what I mean? And I've got 2. I'm like, I'm playing with this dude. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I appreciated everybody, and like it was awesome. Awesome experience.
I love that. I think about like the specific thing with streaming, I always, and is in the back of my mind, is like two thoughts of just how do people create the amount of content and just like the pressure to be on for hours and just have something to say and not just run out of content or run out of engaging ideas or just getting burnt out. Like there's just, especially with kind of the consistent streamers, I can't imagine like being on for that many hours. And like we do it in a different context in work, but it's not the same as having 10,000 people live watching you, and you just they're looking for you to be entertaining or great at the game or whatever. How do you kind of manage that burnout? And did you have to set certain schedules that like allow you to be successful? Like I feel like it's got to be a ton of work.
Early on, it was like a lot of us were like in college and stuff like that. So it was like after 3 o'clock, beyond between 3 o'clock and midnight, and like pick your like slot window. We're gonna be subbing in and out. We're young and we've got work and stuff after school. And then like when Fortnite really took off, we kind of broke it down into like 2 4-hour shifts. We had like the early morning 4-hour shift, and then we'd have like dinner, lunch, or like lunch, dinner, and then we'd have like the evening. So it's just kind of breaking apart that 8-hour window. But now it's called transition time in our house. So it's just like when I'm getting ready to go to work, I need 30 minutes of just like, don't talk to me. I gotta like get into the mindset of like, boom, I'm on. But it's hard to explain to people that the fatigue you feel after streaming is like you don't know, like you've never experienced it. Like I'm exhausted. You're like, why? All you did was play video games in your office for 4 hours, and you're just like, no, like you don't understand. Like you got to be like back and forth, talk to this person, and it's like it's so hard to tell people that are streaming and stuff that like you have to take breaks. Like, um, like the social media uh like ad rev arc is, it peaks in December and then it goes down in this like early spring. Like take that January, February off. Like legit, just like don't go into like don't stream. Stream once a week. Like take it off because it's so important. I took a year off after COVID because it was like for the first time I felt forced to stay home and play video games. And it was my choice. It was my choice up until that point. But now I was just like, I gotta stay home and play video games. I don't like this anymore. And I was just like, I'm walking away for a year. But yeah, take breaks. It is so hard to tell people just like, hey, your growth is gonna grow. You might lose. Like I look back at like my sub count. I've lost 1.5 million subscribers over the entire course of my career. But like I wouldn't change anything. Like take breaks. Take breaks. Otherwise, it's hard. It's hard to come into my office and sit here and be like, man, what do I want to play if I don't like take that time off to just reset?
I was just say I love that. Like I think the humanity behind it, a lot of, especially in, I think about kind of performers in a whole variety. And I view streamers as an extension of performers. Like you're part comedian, part performance art, part whatever. Like, but have to be on. And like, it's funny because, I'll go on Twitch and watch something and I can barely like digest what's happening in chat. It's just like so chaotic. And then I think about trying to do this kind of almost performance art, be funny, be relevant, have something to say, digest what's happening in chat, the game, thinking about my camera setup. What do I look like while all this is happening? There's this is nerdy, but there's like a chess streamer that I follow, Hikaru Nakamura. I'm like, the dude streams for like 6 hours of like incredibly high level chess. And I'm just like, I played a lot and I can't focus for more than like 45 minutes before I'm out the door. And to do that day in, day out, it's just like, it's ridiculous.
It's one of those things too that like I didn't realize for me that certain people can't like Mario Kart and Mario Party. You know how like everybody's screen is on the same screen? Like some people can't watch or like look at other people's POV and like talk. I didn't know that was like rare. Like we'd be playing, I'd be like, oh, here comes a green shell, Kelly. And they'd be like, how do you know? And be just like, how do you not know that I'm in first place? Like, it's like, I thought that was like easy to do. They're like, no, like, how are you talking to me? It's just like, you can't have a conversation. So it's like definitely a learning curve, but like the energy levels, they've got to be there. And I've seen certain streamers now, they've like cut their hours down because they're like, I used to stream 10 hours a day. Now I'm high energy for that 4 hours. And I'm gone. But then like you go on Twitch right now and it's like Kai Cenat who's killing it. He's been streaming live for like 120 hours. And like he's sleeping on stream. I'm like, that's not me. That is not me. You're not going to get the version that you get from me all day. So
I'm dying. I'm like remembering like in high school playing like GoldenEye with my friends and be like, don't be a screen watcher. Don't be a screen watcher. You cheat, like playing proximity mines.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
Oh,
you screen peeking,
funny.
you screen peeking.
Yeah, no. It's so funny.
That is so funny. You know what? I know a lot of nerdy things about you, Scott, but I do think the chess streaming is probably the nerdiest thing, and I can appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I mean he's like top 10 in the world, but the dude is.
I do watch all those TikToks and Instagram reels when people are playing.
He's one of the smartest dudes. Like he's just like, oh yeah, here are the next 27 moves. This game's clearly lost.
He just locks it and he's just like, what? What? Why? And then he
Yeah.
runs through the whole scenario. Yeah, that's crazy to
Yeah.
see.
That all right? Okay, you might have to send that to me later then.
Dude, if you want something equally nerdy, there's this dude Rainbolt who plays GeoGuessr.
Mhm.
The dude,
Oh my God.
he's like,
He'll be like Eastern Europe, boom, boom. That bush is only native to like Africa, bow. And you're just like, within a mile? How?
yeah. He's like, okay, trying to guess where I'm at in 0.1 seconds, pixelated, and I can only see a third of the screen. And he's like, oh yeah, those are clearly trees from Eswatini. And you're like, dude, bro, come on, really? And like some of the
Those guys
guesses
are
he's on this,
insane.
he's
They're
like can
insane.
find the right road in the entire world. It's just, that kind of level of gaming, I'm like, I would rather try to be funny, and I'm not that funny of a guy, than try to be that good at a video game any day.
Oh man, that is insane. You know, I think I've seen a couple of those clips on Instagram before. Now I am pretty blown away, and I feel like I don't know. Shouldn't that guy be working for the government or something? You know what I'm
Yeah, for real.
That's
For
always
real.
the joke. It's like he's working for the CIA. He knows every road in the world.
Has to. But yo, it's funny, you know, you do have all these different, you know, streams now, all these different areas, all these different places that you could focus your energy on when it comes down to it, right? And I think people who are starting out sometimes want to know where they focus their energy, you know, and we don't have to get specific on I don't want to check your pockets, right? But like, where would you say that out of all the different social media mediums that you're currently using, where do you make the most money? Like, where do you want to, what do you focus your time?
Definitely for me, it's YouTube and the uploads. I mean, long form content will always make more money than short form content, but short form content will put more eyeballs on you. So it's a healthy balance. For me, I've always looked at social medias as posting more of like the outside of my gaming content. So it's like the Roomba is stuck, or like watching Love Is Blind. That's where I've focused that kind of attention on. But I'm starting to see the value in just uploading, a snippet from the gaming video or a snippet from the video too as an added benefit. But long form content it's I mean, unless you can get a streaming deal, which was where the crazy money was, but long form 100% like uploading, editing videos, but there's cost from me to do that because I got to, pay my staff and my editing team and stuff like that. But streaming streaming's hard for me because when I started, you had to pick. It was like you either uploaded edited videos or you streamed and uploaded just like, a compilation, and it wasn't a lot of like creativity into that. So streaming for me is like scheduled. It's like I'm live Monday, Wednesday, Friday at these times, and I've never operated in that like okay guys, boom. So it's a bit of a challenge to get me to be like, okay guys, consistently stream. But streaming and uploading longer videos is where that's where my money comes from.
I love that you mentioned your team, and that was a question that I had. Is as you're coming up, and you mentioned you gained the first 100,000 and then 1,000,000. At what point did you take the leap and you're like, hey, I've got to get someone here to help me out? And then what does that look like? And now in its kind of evolution today, 4.8 million on YouTube. What does that team look like? It really, I imagine it's a business.
Oh yeah.
It's got to operate like a business. And how do you kind of navigate that transition from streamer to leading a business?
I remember my friend had hit like 5 million maybe, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm bringing on an editor." And I was like, "Sell out. Like you're not going to edit your own videos anymore." Like, man, like boo, you know what I'm saying? I think that's cheap. It's cheap tactics. And then when I hit around I want to say 2 million, I was just like, I can't listen to my voice anymore. Cuz it was like I play for, 8 hours or 6 hours, and then I got to cut that footage up. And like to make it bearable, I would play back, or like in my editing software, I would play back the audio or the video at like 1.5 times speed. So I sound like a chipmunk. That way I could I'm just editing a video. And one of my friends he had started YouTube around the time that I did. And then he went to college. I don't know if he finished college, but he was like, I'm coming back to YouTube, or I kind of want to get back into it. But we had kind of taken off, and it was just like, yo, you looking for work? Like, you know what I'm saying? So he was like, "Oh yeah, I would love to edit videos." And then he started editing for me, and then he was like, I really appreciate the opportunity. We were doing very, very well. But I kind of wanted to get back into streaming too. And I was like, cool. I'm saying, like, get your own hustle, like 100%. And he was like, we should bring someone else in to offset the time. So then I was like, now I have two editors. And then I was just like, oh, we could go every day. Let's get another editor. But then I always wanted them to have their own free time too, because I know how draining it was for me to edit, gaming videos for 6 hours every day or 8 hours every day. So I was like, let's have a few people so that they can, pursue other things. If they want to edit full time, they could edit for a plethora of people. Or so it just kind of grew. I don't know how it happened. Now let me see. I have one, two, three, four editors.
Wow.
I have a full-time thumbnail artist, and then three backup thumbnail artists, and then I have one person, shout out my boy Sal, who does all of the work. So I just play video games now, and then I give it to him, and he does all the talking. I don't want I don't want to have the like, hey, I need this video back by 30. He does all that for me. So it's hands off now, but it took a while to get there.
That's got to be reinvigorating, like to be able
Oh
to
yeah.
just get back to the essence of what you started and just like play the games, produce the content, and then like let all that work kind of be offloaded. Do you jump back into it at all, or try to mix it up, or hey, I want to try this new idea, or just are you happy to let them kind of leave left them to their own devices?
I definitely think that like I'm trying to transition a little bit into incorporating more of like an IRL lifestyle kind of like content, and that's where I'm trying to figure out how to make it like me and creative, but also stay true to my audience, and that's where I kind of like lead, like just like the direction, and luckily I've had these guys for a while, so they kind of like know where my headspace is, and I'm able to just kind of be like, boom, this is my idea. And then, if you follow, the footage that I'm giving you, you can kind of see where I was kind of going with it. I tried to edit one of my videos recently, and I got frustrated. I was like, I don't know the commands anymore. I don't know. So now I'll just cut out the parts that I want and then give it to them sometimes and be like, okay, this is my idea. As you can kind of see where I was going with it, can you make it a video that people will be proud to watch? So, yeah, no, I would never edit again. I would rather walk away from social media forever than edit videos again.
I
Wow.
love it. Looking at it and you're like, you've been doing this since 2011 now. And
Yeah.
you have all these people who would want to wake up and be streamers one day, right? And I think that that's amazing because that really is like people are looking at like the quote unquote overnight success, right? It's not overnight success. It
No.
is years of grinding to get to the point where you now haven't. So like getting this level of stature in social media and in relevance in the world, it's like it's a lot of hard work and it's incredible to see it all matriculating into beautiful things. And I know obviously you have your streaming that you're working on and your YouTube videos that you're making money from. But have you worked with any brands? And like if you have, what are your favorite ones?
Yeah, brand deals, they come very, very, very often. Sometimes, just in an email form. Uh, it's tough because there's a lot of like mobile games and stuff that have the bag, and you're just like,
Yeah.
I don't really play mobile games. So it's like hard for me to be like, hey guys, like if I have to do it like that, I get a little frustrated. Um, Definitely my favorite brand shoot was we did a Hummer ad for Call of Duty because they had the electric Hummer in the
Oh,
game, and like we were out in LA in the desert, and we got to fly in like a Black Hawk helicopter, and we got to drive this $120,000 electric Hummer, and it has this like mode called Watts to Freedom, or WTF mode, where you just like you just floor it and it just takes off. And Max Holloway, UFC fighter, was like there, and he was like super
Yeah.
chill. And they were like, "All right, you guys got like 30 minutes to just do whatever you want in the car." And we were full on drifting this Hummer in the desert, and like that was insane. Yeah, like it's hard for me to get a brand deal that gets me out of the office. I think those are my favorite ones where it's just like I get to go out and do something that I wouldn't normally do. It's hard for me to sell something that I don't really care about. Um, yeah, no, yeah, like laptops. I love laptops. Like I get laptops all the time, and like anything that's like a keyboard or stuff like that, I get excited about. But like I can't promote things that I don't really like. I don't use a VPN for certain stuff, so it's hard. Like, hey,
Yeah.
are you guys using Norton I can't do it. I can't do it.
And you know, the follow up to that question is always, because obviously you're on a show or on a podcast, which hopefully has a bunch of marketers' ears out there. And so I want to know from you, like, if you could get a brand deal that you haven't gotten yet, which one would it be?
Man, I just got one, like I think 2 days ago. That I was excited about. I got a Nike Jordan brand deal for
Whoa.
the Jordan 11 Space Jams are coming out. I got those. They're coming, but I just stream their like new game, like a little retro game. But anything that I use in real life, I feel like is awesome. Like I would love a toilet paper or paper towel brand sponsorship. That'd be dope. Gas card, Chevron, you know what I'm saying, 7-Eleven. Anything like that is like peak for me. Candy, any candy, food, you know what I'm saying? That's where I kind of like lean my focuses on. Cars, anybody want to send me a car, energy drinks, beverages, stuff like that. Just anything that enhances like a plane ticket, like an airline, they want to hook me up, that'd be dope. But like anything that just enhances my life, that's my favorite kind of like brand deal to get.
That's
Alaska
so funny.
Airlines, where you at? You know what I'm saying? Hit me up.
That's the second shout out for airlines. And by the way,
Hotels? Come on, bro.
the Hummer story is so funny because we just talked to someone and her top experience was like going out to the desert in these Jeeps, getting flown in a hot air balloon, taking a helicopter back to LA. And I'm like, what's this like desert vehicle helicopter influencer situation? I'm
It's
like,
weird. It's weird.
who knew this was a thing? It's awesome.
Something about the desert
Yeah.
and brand deals.
Yeah. Yep. All brands take notice. If you want to make a great influencer experience, you got to add a desert and some cars.
But I also feel like with brand deals, it's a lot more fun and interesting. Like I'm more open to do a brand deal when they give us the the creativity. I don't like following scripts and being like in boom, 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 boom. This is what we want you to do in the video. I'm just like, give me my talking points and let me run with it. I think anything like that is just perfect.
Yeah, no, you said you hit something you said hit, and it's a consistent thing that we see, which is just like, I don't want to support products that I don't really believe in, that I wouldn't use. And it's funny because you joke and you rattle off like all these things you use in your daily life. And I think there's such an opportunity there because at the end of the day, like we're all real people doing real things, living our life. And there's this weird intersection of being a normal person, but then also having this huge community and following who are, by the way, also real people who have normal lives and consume all these same products. And so I think, thinking beyond, oh, he's a gamer, let's just send him keyboards and laptops and headphones and whatever. There's such a missed opportunity, I think, to like hit your following who are normal people whose interests expand well beyond games, and they follow you for more than just your gaming content. I think like to follow someone for that amount of time, the amount of content you're putting out for so many years, there's got to be more than just the gaming there. They have to like resonate with you personally and kind of the message you're putting out into the world. And so I think it's a good lesson of like not sticking to tradition and not needing to like pigeonhole people into, their specific lane and only offering products down that lane.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I feel like the industry has to like kind of figure out. Obviously, for them, it's risk reward. So it's like, yeah, of course they're going to give the gamer products or like streaming products, but there's so many other things that I could advertise. I would love to advertise, but they just don't really fall on my lap. I mean, so
Yeah.
like I
Well,
love
Jordan,
clothes. I love clothes. Like, yo, I'll do an Abercrombie. You know what I'm saying? I like looking nice. I'll wear a suit. You know, like what do you want? You know what I mean? Cologne, where you at? You know what I mean? Anything. So it's yeah. I be seeing you. I be seeing you with your fits and stuff,
Yep,
your
yep.
work
So
outfits and everything.
that's what I've been trying to get. Like I since I ever like I talked about this just a couple conversations ago, a couple episodes ago. Is like I wanted to mold myself more around like fashion and fitness, because I just feel like that is my brand. And you know, like blessings to On, which is the first sneaker slash athletic gear company that reached out, them via JD Sports. And so like that, hey, that let it be known now, brands, you work with me, you end up on the podcast. But that was a really cool moment for me. When I saw that, I didn't care about how much money it was. I was just like, whoa, I'm excited because I get to throw on some athletic gear and just walk around my neighborhood, take photos of it. And I did them over the weekend. And for the rest of the weekend, I actually just wore my On shoes because one, we just moved. And so I
Congratulations,
don't
by the way.
thank you. That's why I'm in my new studio. Still got a little bit of cleanup to do, but we just moved. But also we were dog sitting for my mother-in-law. And so it was great to be able to be there and just like throw my sneakers on and not have to worry about getting anything else. And so that was really important for me. And I feel like just having access to that and knowing that I got to do this one thing that I always wanted to do, I don't know, it felt really good, dog. It felt really good. So all,
That's
all
awesome,
in
though.
all, yeah, it all worked out. And so, as we transition here to maybe wrapping up this call, what do you see for yourself, in the next couple of years? We'll call it the dating question. When people say, what do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, obviously, there's something really cool that I can't talk about that's on the horizon. I'm excited to announce it when I'm allowed to, and I'm curious to see what that does for my social media and stuff like that. Obviously, transitioning into uploading like more type like vlog, travel, anything like that. That's kind of where I kind of want to steer a little bit. Also maintaining the gaming and all. I'm getting older. I'm 34 now, so it's like I don't just sit at home and play video games all the time. I've got a girlfriend who wants to travel and go places. So trying to figure out a way to incorporate a lot of the the milestone lifestyle kind of stuff like that. But I'm a guy who just looks at any opportunity as an opportunity, and just do it and take whatever comes and have a good time doing it. That's it's interesting because it's like I feel like I'm a weird kind of example of like people can see like the things that I've done that work and the things that don't work, and to have like I play video games, but now I'm I bought a drift car. I'm starting to learn how to like drift and stuff like that. So they get to see me kind of make new hobbies and do new things, and I just want to share all of like I started cross stitching and embroidery, bro. I be popping off. Look at this. I be popping off. Like, bruh.
Whoa, my guy.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, stuff like that. Like just bringing that kind of content. Like I'm going to stream me making a rug with a tough gun in a couple of days. So it's just, whatever. Just be myself. And I'm in a lucky position that I've created a brand that, you're going to get me doing the same things I would be doing if I was gaming, but just in a different environment.
I love that. And I think it's such a good message. Seeing the human behind the content.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's great to bring your audience on that journey and, let people know that it's okay to like cross stitch and
it's whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Like watching chess streaming or GeoGuess or whatever. But no, it's been amazing to have you on. We're super thankful for the time. We're so happy for your success on all the different fronts, and be looking out for what comes next for you. But just it seems like you're in such a good spot, and there's really great things to come, and couldn't be more thrilled for you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. This was fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for following through with it. I know we scheduled this quite a while back, and certain things derailed for a little bit, but I'm really, really glad we got you on. And so we appreciate you. Both Scott and I do. And before we go, we have to make sure to mention Scott and I did not know, nor were we aware we were going to be wearing the same color hoodie today. So we had to say that. So we'll end on that note. Thank you so much for joining us, Marcel. See y'all all next week. Bye.